Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the University of Dundee Master of Education. My name is Helen Spiropoulos. I'm the Admissions Manager at Stafford Global, and joining me this evening all the way from the university is Dr. Marie. Good evening to you, Dr. Marie.
Good evening, Helen. It's lovely to be here with you all tonight.
Good, and it's lovely to see you again, and I can see there's quite a lot of you that have joined us as far afield as Egypt, so very nice of you to join us. How we are going to conduct the webinar this evening, just I'm going to briefly introduce you to Stafford, what our role is, and then I'm going to hand you over to Dr. Marie, who's going to chat to you about the program, and then at the end of the presentation you will have the opportunity to type out any questions that you may have for me or for Dr. Marie, and I will be grouping these questions together because a lot of them are identical, and we'll obviously be able to try and assist you with the answer on that. Okay, so let's get started. Who is Stafford Global? Well, Stafford was established in 1993, and we are a resource centre for distance learning education in the Middle East. Now, we are currently the resource centre for 6 UK universities, one of which is the University of Dundee. Now, the mere fact that you're here this evening means that you have been in touch with one of our experienced academic consultants. So our role is to assist you throughout the application process, make sure that your application is strong enough, send it through to the university, gain that very important unconditional offer. We do offer a variety of programs ranging from certificates to diplomas to master's levels, doctorates. So we really do have all the programs for your personal and your professional needs. And we do also offer some academic and administrative support as well. I'm now going to hand you over to Dr. Marie, and as I said, I will be joining you towards the end of the presentation to take up any of your questions. Over to you, Dr. Marie.
Thank you very much, Helen, for that introduction. So yes, my name is Marie Beresford-Dey. I'm primarily a lecturer in education leadership on the MEd programme, but I'm also the academic lead and advisor of studies for any students joining the MEd programme via Stafford Associates. So on behalf of the University of Dundee and the Master of Education programme, I'd like to offer you a very warm welcome and thank you for joining us tonight. I'm going to start off by giving a little bit of information about the University of Dundee and then the MEd programme more generally before I start to give some detailed information about the various modules and routes through the programme that we offer. Okay, so starting with who we are then at the University of Dundee. We make a real difference here and now in the real world, and in doing so, we encourage a cross-disciplinary exchange of thoughts, ideas and innovation through a variety of teaching methods and perspectives. We work to foster a partnership approach between students and staff, and it very much is a collaboration. And we actively seek ways of working together across boundaries. So we don't focus on one specific phase of education. We will work across various education, and we also have students joining us from the non-traditional educational phases or areas, such as community education. We encourage and support students to be transformative in their practice, and this is something that really shines through when we speak to the students throughout their learning, along with the feedback that they give us in terms of any module evaluation. We make time to listen to you, to help and support you throughout your studies. And we're always saying to students, please do come and speak to us if you're coming across any difficulties, any challenges. We are here to try and support you. We recognise and respect differences and actively promote inclusion, no matter what your background is. we try to nurture that creativity and innovation that's required of a modern university, and to help develop those innovative solutions to 21st century problems. So ultimately, we transform lives, and we help you to do the same once you start on the programme. So why Dundee? Well, we are ranked very highly in the university listings, and this is something that we are very proud of. We have a substantial global reputation with students from over 150 countries around the world. No matter where in the world you're studying from, we will promote a real sense of community, and it's this that we feel that sets us apart. At Dundee, we can offer you a learning experience with one of the world's top universities, and during the course of your studies, we'll offer you excellent teaching, learning, support, and of course the resources to go along with that. Okay, so let's take a little look at the MEd. The MEd is a professional development programme undertaken at level 11 on the Scottish Qualifications Framework, so it's at master's level. And although the MEd is recognised by the General Teaching Council of Scotland, the GTCS, it's not a teaching qualification, so it's not a teaching licence qualification. As different national governments have different prerequisites for teaching, you are advised to check with the relevant governing body or registering body in your area or the country in which you're aiming to teach in. So please do check that out. Okay, so as an overview then, we offer you an opportunity to work part-time or fast-track study. It's a blended learning approach, so both of those do give you a sense of autonomy within your studies. It's a practice-based professional qualification, and it's a qualification, depending on the route that you take through the qualification, it is recognised by the International Baccalaureate. We have, as I say, students from all over the world, but certainly from all different sectors within education. And regardless of where you come from or your backgrounds, we treat all students equally. So even though you're studying at a distance, you still have the same access to student support services as you would if you were on campus. With the MEd, we have a variety of routes through, and all of those have a different subject foci. So we do offer quite a varied range of routes through. It is an internationally recognised postgraduate qualification with education as its focus from early years through to higher education. Okay, so why study at master's level? There are several benefits of undertaking a master's degree. It deepens and broadens your knowledge through asking questions, seeking answers, and exploring the landscape from those different theoretical or scholarly perspectives, which then change the way in which you perceive the world. And through this, you'll develop a more inquiring, reflective, critical, and innovative approach to practice. Through undertaking the MEd, you'll demonstrate your mastery of education, which of course can then be honed further to specialise in an educational area. It enables you to develop transferable skills such as criticality, communication, use of technology, and organisational skills. And study at master's level enables you to improve your career prospects, which often leads to higher incomes, as this also includes professional progression into leadership and management roles. Also, you might wish to progress to doctoral study if you obtain the full MEd. Some countries consider teaching a master's level profession, so therefore obtaining an MEd enables you to meet the professional requirements for these countries. So as I say, we do have a variety of foci, which I'll be talking about in a moment, but just to identify a little bit more about why study MEd at the University of Dundee. It's a programme of study that brings together that theory with practice. So how do the two things merge? It encourages you to draw on your experiences and align them with literature. It enables you to question why we do certain things and whether there are alternative ways where practice can be enhanced. It encourages you to strengthen your knowledge about global educational developments through offering an opportunity to critically explore different perspectives of education, all of which help to develop or extend your confidence and enhance your professional career. And as tutors, we're continuously seeing our students' practice being influenced by their learning at master's level. This inevitably benefits the students and staff who you're working with, along with the families who you may also be supporting too. So this is something that we see on a regular basis coming through from our students' work and those conversations that we have with students. So taking a little bit more of a detailed look at the MEd, to obtain an MEd, you'll need to complete 180 credits of study in any of the named awards that you see there on the screen. The Award of Leading Learning and Teaching, highlighted in bold, is our generic award, which provides subject flexibility. However, it can require, if you require a subject specialism, you can see that we have a number of options from educational leadership down to TESOL, teaching English to speakers of other languages. And that's quite a new programme for us that we're excited about. For students who might wish to undertake the TESOL route, this programme is primarily suitable for new graduates and teachers of English with little to a few years of teaching experience. It could be that it's suitable for those who would like to become TESOL or TESOL leaders in their institution and pursue consultancy in charities, educational organisations, state or private schools and universities. So there's quite a range of reasons why people may undertake the MEd in TESOL. It can also help you to gain employment in translation and editing for the publishing sector. So a variety of reasons why you might undertake that programme. So let's just have a little look at the optional modules that do link to some of these named awards. And each of the optional modules that you see there on the screen enable you to carry out the study and assignment without being in a workplace environment, as long as you have relevant teaching experience to draw from. Each optional module is considered as a single credit module and are worth 30 credits. In addition, we also have 3 core modules reflecting upon practice, or if you're taking the IB leadership route, that would be reflecting upon leadership in the IB, research methods and the dissertation. So the reflection modules and the research method modules are worth 30 credits because they're single credit modules. However, if for the dissertation, this is a double credit module and is worth 60 credits. Okay, so just to demonstrate how the named awards and modules link, you can see that the generic Leading Learning and Teaching award enables you to undertake any 2 optional modules, along with having flexibility at dissertation stage, whereas the named awards, not highlighted in bold, do require you to undertake specific modules, and the dissertation of that must focus on an area that's relevant to that named award. So for example, if you wish to obtain an MEd in educational leadership, then one of your optional modules must be leadership and organisational development, with a free choice of a second optional. But then your dissertation must also focus on educational leadership. Okay, so we also offer the International Baccalaureate, and we have 3 awards linked to the IB, the International Baccalaureate. And for these awards, once you commence your studies at Dundee, you'll need to register directly with the IB. We'll provide you with guidelines for this. We also have a dedicated member of staff who will provide you with IB support. One of the questions we often get around IB is there any additional assignments, exams, or any additional work that's required for the IB? And the answer to that is no, there isn't. But for each of the IB awards, you will be expected to underpin your writing with IB publication. Again, we'll provide you with support for this. But from what you can see there on the screen and the 3 awards that we offer, the first of those is the IB in Leadership Practice. And for this, there are no prerequisites of IB experience required for you to undertake that, but there are 2 modules which you must undertake. Following on from that, you might wish, if you're carrying out the full MEd programme, to then work towards the Advanced Certificate in Leadership Research. If you don't have any IB experience, then you will have needed to have undertaken the postgraduate leadership practice certificates. Alternatively, if you do have 3 years teaching experience, then you may be able to take an alternative route through where you don't need to have that initial certificate. For the advanced certificate in learning and teaching and research, you must have 3 years teaching experience in an IB school. There's no alternatives to that, and that's stipulated by the International Baccalaureate. So just to talk through a couple of examples of what an MEd might look like. What we have here is the 3-year part-time route, a typical part-time route, and this includes the IB Advanced Teaching and Learning Research. So what we can see here, in year 1, you take a core module reflecting upon practice, followed by your optional module. And at that point, if you wish, you could exit with a postgraduate certificate. Hopefully you would carry on until year 2, so what we will call your diploma year, to undertake your second optional module, followed by the core module research methods. And at that point, you would be eligible to exit with a postgraduate diploma. And finally, year 3 is a dissertation year, which we hope that you would undertake to complete the full MEd, and that would give you 180 credits and potentially that IB eligibility. And that 3rd year is solely focused on your dissertation. Okay, so we'll take another look at an alternative example, and this time to undertake the IB leadership route through. So for this in year 1, you would have to take, if you are taking the certificate route because you don't have the experience of IB, you would have to take the Leadership and Organisational Development Award, followed by the core reflecting upon leadership in the IB. Year 2, you would have your optional module, followed by the core of research methods, and then year 3, you would undertake your dissertation. If you are going for that advanced IB award, then your dissertation must also focus on the IB and educational leadership to obtain that. Okay. So the programme has options for fast track and part-time study. The key difference here is just the pace of study, as you would expect, and that you double up the amount of work carried out in a semester for the fast track route. So you'd undertake a total of 60 credits in 1 semester as opposed to the 30 credits if you were taking the part-time route. I do have to give this a little bit of a health warning, if you like, that the fast track option is a significant undertaking, and I really do advise you to consider whether you have space to complete approximately 30 to 35 hours of study per week for that fast track route. However, if you decide upon this but then feel that it's too overwhelming, we can transfer you onto the part-time route at the start of a semester. Equally, if you commence the part-time route but perhaps your circumstances change so that you feel that you can double up the study, then again, we'll be able to transfer you at certain points. But I would always recommend that you come and speak to us as soon as possible if you feel that there's a need of change of pace in one direction or another. So we offer optional workshops. They're not mandatory, they are optional. They are highly recommended. They're a fantastic opportunity to meet with other students as well as some of the tutors. It's a space for us to start building that sense of community. The induction workshop does provide you with an opportunity to gain an understanding of the various mechanisms within the university's online learning platform, because it will be new to many of you. How to access the online library, how to access various opportunities for support. It'll also enable you to develop an understanding of critical reading, thinking, and the writing required for master's level learning. So we do quite a bit of work around those features. Feedback is always excellent. Students find them very worthwhile and beneficial to moving forward with their studies. Entry requirements for the programme is all routes must have an undergraduate degree, and that can be within any discipline. It doesn't have to be education specific. If your undergraduate degree was not taught in English, then you will need an academic IELTS of 6.5. We do have workplace-based routes, so for those of you in a workplace at the moment, you'll be able to reflect on your current practice. Or if you're not currently in a workplace, we have the non-workplace based routes, but you must for that have had enough previous experience for you to draw upon. So it doesn't need to be current at the moment, but you must have a substantial amount of experience to reflect upon. Okay, we do have graduation, which is a great time for us to come together to celebrate your achievements, and we do love to see our students in Dundee. Unfortunately, due to COVID, the last couple of years, we've had to hold a virtual graduation, but that's now, we're now holding physical graduations again. Fingers crossed that COVID doesn't give us any more issues on that. But we do have a timeline for graduation. There are certain processes that we need to work through. Your studies will be presented to the Board of Examiners meeting, who confer appropriate awards to be made for each student on the MEd programme who are eligible to graduate. The Board of Examiner meeting is held in September, and we also have a Chair's Action meeting in May of each year, and we need your assignments to go through one of those for you to graduate with either the June graduation, the summer graduation, or the November graduation. And that's the point when certificates will also be sent out. So you can see that there's quite a timeline if you've submitted earlier, that you will need to wait until these processes have been carried out. And that's typical of many universities. You can see that we have some very positive feedback from our students. We thoroughly enjoy working with our students around the world in many different contexts. But it's not just the tutors, it's the professional services staff and also the support mechanisms that are available. But ultimately, from the feedback, you can see that it does change students' lives in terms of their professional lives and how they develop their profession. not just by themselves, within themselves, but as I say, the staff and the students who they're also working with. Okay, for tuition fees, please seek personalised costs from and payment advice from your academic consultant at Stafford Associates. The application deadline is the 14th of March, which might seem quite a long way away, but it is appearing very rapidly, so it's important that you do get your applications into us so we can process those as soon as possible. On that note, I would just like to invite Helen back for any questions and answer sessions.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Marie. Again, very, very informative. And I can see there are quite a few questions that have come through. Okay, so here's a very interesting question. I will be finishing an IB certificate of teaching and learning in another university. So my question is, will I get any credit exemption for this?
We wouldn't credit exempt for an IB certificate or award, and whether we would provide any credit exemption to the MEd programme more generally, it depends on the level of the award that you're obtaining. Any award for credit exemption must be at level 11, so a master's level, level 11 on the Scottish qualification framework or equivalent to that, and it must have been undertaken within the last 5 years. So I know that other people may have exemption questions as well in here. It's quite a popular question, so do bear in mind it has to be, your previous study must have been within the last 5 years and be at the same level as the master's level.
Okay, good. And another question is, I have seen on the internet that there are quite a lot of other institutions that offer a PGCEI. Your course, you can exit with a PGCE or just apply for that. What is the difference between the PGCE and the PGCI?
I'm not fully, don't know in depth what the PGCEI contains, so that's at other universities, so I wouldn't like to second guess which university that is and what that might entail. Now, it might entail that you can, there's a teaching training element to that, I don't know. The postgraduate certificate that we offer is a professional development award. It's not a teaching license certificate. So we offer, and again, I don't really want to make assumptions of what other universities might offer as the PGCI because everybody will offer different things. But certainly at Dundee, we feel that we've got a range of subject areas for you to choose from and how that links into your postgraduate certificate. So for me, what we offer is flexibility in speed and of study, and the content of study, and also that opportunity to continue onto a full MEd as well.
Good. And the PGCE, if I only apply for this particular level, is it internationally recognised or is it only recognised in Scotland?
No, it's an international recognised qualification. Again, in terms of any teaching licence or training, as I've said before, and I will repeat again, I'm pretty sure that you do need to check with your relevant governing body or Ministry of Education as to what is accepted and make sure that you're fully aware of that. But yeah, the postgraduate certificate and the diploma and the MEd awards are all internationally recognised.
Okay, here's an interesting question. I do have a bachelor's in electrical engineering, and I do want to do the PGCE. Do you think that it is suitable for me to start my career in teaching? Just, bearing in mind that I do have some previous education experience.
Well, I'm glad to learn that you've got previous educational experience. The bachelor's degree, it can be in any discipline. So you have that bachelor's degree and that will give you eligibility if you also have the English language component as well alongside that. In terms of teaching experience, we would need to make that judgment when we see your application as to whether you've got enough teaching experience for you to be able to draw from and when that teaching experience occurred. So we want to make sure that it's relatively current that you can draw from as well. So I would say in the first instance, speak to your academic consultant and then they will advise whether to put that application in. Hopefully you will, and from there on we will then be able to make that judgment.
Okay, there's a follow-up question by another candidate is in the event that I do not have any teaching experience, would you still be able to take me into the PGCE level?
I'm afraid not, because of the way that the programme is designed. We expect people who come into this programme to have enough teaching experience to draw from. Without that, you're not going to be able to respond to the content and the assignment would be incredibly difficult to achieve. In fact, it is almost impossible to achieve. So you really do need teaching experience to undertake the programme.
And if I apply for the PGCE, what would my certificate name be? So
it depends on which awards you take. So it might be a postgraduate certificate in leading, learning and teaching. It might be a postgraduate certificate in educational leadership. So the titles of the MEd Names Award that I showed on the screen earlier, it could be one of those, but it would be postgraduate certificate in whichever pathway you've decided to take.
Okay, good. So do get in touch with us and we'll be able to give you some advice on that as well. Okay, so do you accept any students with a vast number of years of working experience, but no bachelor degree? I do have quite a lot of professional qualifications.
Unfortunately not. One of the requirements is that we do need you to have a bachelor's degree or equivalent. If you don't have that, or if you're unsure of what you've got, whether that's equivalent, again, contact the team and the academic consultant who will be able to advise on that. If for example, so you don't have something that's equivalent, then I'm sure they'll also be able to advise you on any other potential courses that may allow you to obtain that bachelor's degree.
Okay, upon earning the MEd Name Award Leading, Learning and Teaching, can I apply for an IB Certificate of Leadership, or is this only available for the Leadership Award?
No, it depends which route you take, but no, you have the option. The beauty of the Leading, Learning and Teaching is that it's a very flexible award. So you might want to have that award, but you're still working towards the IB leadership, whether that be the advanced leadership or the certificate, it doesn't matter. You can still opt for that leading, learning and teaching. You will need to focus your route through and your dissertation on educational leadership with the IB, but you are able to opt for that leading, learning and teaching award.
Okay, and can I do the PG certificate then after 1 year and then continue through to the MEd? Can I take a break? So it's about, can I actually take, or do I have to continuously go from one level to another?
No, you can take a break, and we do have some students who do that. Will sign up for the postgraduate certificate for many reasons. Some of those might be that at the moment they don't have time to do the full MEd. It might be that they don't feel confident at this moment in time to do the full MEd. It might be for work purposes that they need to complete the postgraduate certificate. And then take a break and return to us, and we say return to us within the 5-year period, and you can then continue with the full MEd. I am just going to tag a little bit more of a response on to the end of that, if that's okay, Helen. And we do also have students who sign up for the postgraduate certificates, but then actually at the point of submitting their final assignment for that, realise that yes, they've enjoyed it, yes, that they're quite capable of doing this and actually want to continue on. Sometimes that's just to the diploma level, other times they want to do the full MEd. So again, contact us and we'll be able to advise on that. So yes, there's two ways of doing that. If you sign up for postgraduate certificate, you can have a gap and return, or you can decide to continue at that time.
Good. And can I change my specialization halfway through my studies?
That depends from what you want to change it from to where you want to go with it. So if you signed up for a specialised named award, so for example, let's take educational leadership, that's already been mentioned. If you signed up for MEd in educational leadership, but then you wanted to go and transfer that to leading, learning and teaching, because that's a flexible award, we can do that, absolutely. If you sign up for leading, learning and teaching and then later on decide you want an educational leadership award, you can only do that if you've taken the required modules for that named award, and then you also focus your dissertation on that if you're doing the full MEd. So it very much depends on the route that you've taken through and what you want to change it to.
If I have completed my degree in English, do I still need to meet the IELTS requirement?
If it's been completed in English medium, then no, that is satisfactory.
Okay, good. Do get in touch with us and we'll be able to give you more advice on meeting that very important English requirement. Okay, with regards to assessments, will you be able to give us some critical feedback if we are not doing well or if I've actually failed that particular assignment?
Yes, we do give detailed feedback to support you. So it's not just feedback on that piece of work, but it's feed forward as well. There's all important next steps for either a resubmission, which do happen from time to time, or it could be that just when you move on to your next module, how you can strengthen your academic skills further, or the criticality of your writing. So yes, we give detailed feedback. Also, there's points for the majority of module, there's points within the module where you can obtain some form of feedback, whether that's peer assessment feedback, whether that's assessment from a tutor feedback. You wouldn't get a grade for those, of course, but you do get guidance, that formative feedback to help move you forward in your studies.
Good. And then there's a question, okay, I will answer this. Yes, if you do have a letter from your university that you have completed your undergraduate degree in English and it is confirmed, it is in the English medium, that is something that the university will accept as a formal proof of English and meeting that requirement. Okay, I have just completed my PGCTL. Are there any overlapping modules with a master's in leadership or master's in early years?
Until we see the learning outcomes of that programme, that would be I wouldn't be able to answer that, I'm afraid. So I think the best thing to do, and we would say this for any application that comes through, is make sure that you have all the documentation, so the transcripts as well as any certificates and also any learning outcomes, so we can advise you on that. And particularly for anybody who's wishing to obtain or seeking to obtain any credit exemption, that's even more important that you do that.
Absolutely, yes. It's very important for Maria and her team to actually ensure that they map the modules that you have completed against the modules that they have, so that you can see that you have met the relevant learning outcomes and get you that possible credit exemptions. Okay. Okay, so Dr. Marie, which program or which modules do you actually teach on? Will you be teaching us on all or some of these? And how many tutors are there that will be teaching us on this program?
Well, we have quite a few, a large number of tutors. It's growing all the time, different areas of expertise. My area of expertise primarily is leadership, so I'll definitely be on the leadership module for leadership and organisational development module. That's the one that I lead as well as teach on that. If I'm not teaching you, I will certainly still be part of your journey through your studies as your advisor of studies to contact, and then also I'm part of the induction workshops, very much take much of that. But regardless, we have, like I say, a large body of tutors who are very experienced and have a lot of expertise to draw from. And at master's level, that's something that you're seeking, is that expertise.
Absolutely. And you mentioned that you do have these workshops. Any chance that you will resume them again face to face in the UAE? I am living in Dubai. Would love to actually see you face to face.
And I would love to be there as well. So yes, we are keen to come back and teach these face-to-face, to meet our students physically rather than just virtually. But that really does depend on travel guidance and whether the university allows that movement. So as soon as we have everything opened up and have that full freedom to travel, as well as students being able to travel across borders to the workshops, then yes, we'll be there and we're very excited to return.
Okay, and one last question here is, in the event that I cannot attend the graduation, how do I get my certification?
Okay, that's posted out to you. I mean, of course, we always hope that people can attend because we love to see you and we love to help you celebrate and cheer you on as you cross that stage. But of course, we recognise that not everybody can because of various reasons and work commitments, family commitments, and so on. Under those circumstances, your certificate will be posted out to you. We do ask you to make sure, if you join us on the programme, that you keep all your contact details up to date with us, just so we can make sure that it goes to where it should be going.
Okay, and I just see one more question that has come through. If I decide to do the fast track option, but realize that it's a bit too much work for me, do I have the option to then go back to the standard route?
Yes. Please don't leave it till 2 days before the assessments are due in though. The sooner you speak to us about that, the better. But yes, we do have flexibility, but it will be at certain points in the programme. So always say to you, speak to your tutor, speak to myself as your advisor of study, speak to Christy, who's the programme manager. We're all here to support you. So if there is any difficulty along the way that you find it too overwhelming, do speak to us and we can support and advise you appropriately.
Excellent. Okay, so we've managed to actually group all the questions together. Thank you very much, everyone. They were very informative questions. Thank you again, Dr. Marie, for being here with us. Very, very important. As Dr. Marie has said, the 14th of March is the deadline. Very, very popular program, so it does fill up quite quickly. So my advice to you is to please send all your documentation as soon as possible. We'll get it to the university as quickly as possible and get that very important unconditional offer. And hope to see all of you starting quite soon with this program. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining me. Have a good evening, and thank you, Marie. Nice to see you again.
You too. Thank you, everybody. Take care now. Bye-bye.